Welcome.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
You're listening to The Muddy Roofs.
Hey, horn.
This is Muddy Roots.
Hit that like button.
You know what time it is. What time?
Let's take a cut.
So, I do want to issue a warning. Viewers' discretion is advised. We're going to be talking about Epstein and the SA or sexual assault that he has done. And if you've clicked on this video to support us and you're not into that, we're going to leave a little timestamp down at the bottom so you can skip to it. Okay. A little nervous here.
I can hear it in your voice.
Thanks.
It is a pretty sensitive subject. So again, viewers, if this isn't your style, that's okay. Skip forward. But we're gonna get kind of rolling into it. So Ryan, let's start with who is Jeffrey Epstein? So Ryan, go ahead and start us off.
Sorry. So I think it was back in 2016, Jeffrey Epstein was in prison for sexual allegations. A lot of his victims, they have been pressing charges against him, and it was looking bad, and he ends up killing himself.
In prison, yep.
Yeah. He had an island, pretty much, where he does pedophile stuff. And him and his girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, were getting charged with grooming minors. Yeah, he was. They were trying to.
That's disgusting, dude.
Yeah, it is tough. It was tough to look into and see. This is another thing with why I wanted to talk about it. Is it goes to show our elites, our high up government officials, and A-list celebrities, they can do whatever they want, under the radar.
Which is so corrupt.
Yeah.
It's crazy if you know the right people, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to bring this out to the viewers that are watching, to you guys. And so this, or 2 weeks ago, Maxwell's, her case came into public, and it took them 2 years to publicize her court.
Golly.
Yeah. And the reason for that was people's names were dropped, which I'll get into that, but they were fighting to get it redacted or to censor out their names.
The people on the list were fighting to get their names. Or
Yes.
at least the release of it.
Yeah. And so 16 people have fought and a couple have won. So on the list, there's redacted names, but not everyone wanted to fight it because it kind of puts them in a bad light if they lose and their name's still in there.
Right.
And another reason why it took so long was so all public cases or all court cases are made out for the public, but there's two exceptions. Is one when there's sexual assault, and the other is if a child is in play with the case, which this case has both. So it took them a while to let other people challenge them, and not a lot of people have won.
Golly.
Yeah, so Maxwell, her play in this is that she would go out to these minors, and it's people that are low, they're in poverty, they need help, they need money. She would tell them I can pay for your masseuse training. Yeah, and once you do that, you just have to be a masseuse for my husband. Yeah, and
And so we're saying like little kids,
Not-
or like
not-
what age?
like,
Like
well,
under
so
the age of
they
16?
in the case they don't say the age range, but there's like 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds on the
That's
like that's
scary.
yeah, and they're pressing charges now. They're like 20, 21 pressing charges for what Epstein has done.
What the? So when I was researching Epstein a little bit too, I found out that he used to be a teacher.
Yeah, he started off as a
So he
teacher.
started off as a teacher, and there was multiple cases. I can't remember the exact amount. I want to say it was like 12. Like 12 people came forward and said that he sexually assaulted them. And this is all, he's from Florida, I believe. But yeah, the first one was a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah.
So like he'd been doing this. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like the first time, which obviously is expected. You don't naturally just go buy an island and that's the first thing you do with it.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? But it's just crazy that it escalated this far. So who was on the list
All right.
and what kind of stuff was said about the people on the list? Or like what is the list first of all? So these celebrities and these people on this list, they're not necessarily tied in with the kids, but
Right.
what are they?
So the people on this list does not mean that they have done anything like sexual acts with minors or like grooming or anything. It's just who Maxwell have seen. So like she literally could have seen someone at McDonald's and she would talk about it.
Okay.
So they just have been name dropped.
Wait, when you say talk about like the
Like-
island or just talk in general?
No, yeah, in general. Like,
Okay.
oh, yeah, I've seen Donald Trump at this restaurant and we went to eat out with him. And then they would ask, like, has Donald Trump done any sexual, or like, has Donald Trump have had massages? And she would be like, no. And then they would go on to the next person.
But he was
crazy.
brought up, so
Yeah, so his name is on this list.
Donald Trump is on that list.
Donald Trump is
Damn.
on this list. And
That's crazy.
that was one of the things was he didn't have anything to do with the massages, the kids. In 2019, he actually stopped seeing Epstein. And
Well, okay, so Donald Trump's a businessman. Epstein was a
Epstein.
financier.
yeah.
In Florida or something.
Who only works with billionaires.
So Trump and
elite.
him obviously worked together. But now they don't know if Trump was involved or not, or do they?
Maxwell has not said anything about him being at the island. She said that she hasn't seen him at the island or in the Florida mansion,
The Florida mansion.
where he would also get massages.
Oh, okay. So she hasn't seen him there, but he's on the list.
Yeah, she has met him, but he hasn't done anything. There's a lot. Bruce Willis, who hasn't done anything, according to Maxwell. Here's a crazy one. Stephen Hawking's. He is on the list.
That's so
and
crazy.
he's gotten a massage.
So this is okay. Some things have been tampered with. Like people have faked what it is, and so I'm here to disprove the ones that I've looked into. And Stephen Hawking's was one. This is what it said. It said, "This is the question." It said, "Hold on one second. Wait, are you telling me that Stephen Hawking's frequented the island for pleasure?" Answer was yes. Jeffrey loved to have intellectuals visit the island so he could reward them for their hard work. And then,
Reward is crazy. So disgusting.
yeah,
Yep.
the next question is, did Jeffrey ever talk to you about Stephen Hawking's proclivities? And then the answer was yes. He liked watching undressed midgets solve complex equations on a too high up chalkboard.
What?
Okay, I've heard of like weird like fetishes. That's crazy.
Which I actually looked into the documents. That's not true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No way.
There's-
So you're saying Maxwell answered those questions?
No. So this one was just fake.
They tampered with it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was circling around the internet. Like they were like Stephen Hawking's. So also I would like to say people were saying midgets was a code name for kids. Which I also looked into the documents, and they were saying, like, she had no trouble saying, like, minors. Like, yeah, he did sexual activities with minors. So there's no reason for her to code name something for no reason.
Okay, so that document is fake.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to disprove that right now. Disapprove. The next one is Clinton.
Bill.
Bill?
Yeah. Looked into that. Jeffrey Epstein, Maxwell, has said that he likes them young. He likes them young.
And is this real, or did
This
you
is
disprove
real.
it? Oh,
Yeah.
my
I was gonna
goodness.
say
Maxwell
I could
has
see
said that. Yeah, Maxwell said he likes them young. And there was a story saying that Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton were getting massages from like kids.
That's so disgusting, bro.
Yeah.
The Clintons are corrupt. What is, I've heard Hillary get called Killery. Shit like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of conspiracies around them. But
Early on in Epstein's trial, there was the flight logs. Had a bunch of A-list celebrities like Will Smith, Jimmy Kimmel, Ellen DeGeneres, Oprah Winfrey. Like half of those names haven't been dropped. But I would like to say 900 pages came out from the trial, and they're dropping like 300 every week. And so everyone's just waiting on those names. Also, weirdly enough, Tom Hanks was on the flight logs. And when Jeffrey Epstein went into trial, Tom Hanks moved. I think he lives in like Sweden now.
Oh shit!
oh,
Tom Hanks moved. And then Maxwell's case came out, and Tom Hanks came to visit Bill Clinton and Hillary.
what?
They had a secret talk.
Bro, how you get caught when you have a secret talk? First of all, you Tom Hanks. You're supposed to be
Paparazzi,
Mission
dude.
Impossible, and you get caught? That's crazy.
Yeah, paparazzi, I guess, got him, and he just wouldn't want to. Like, he didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, what an idiot.
Yeah.
Who
So
else is on the list?
let's see. I'm trying to name off. So there's, let's see, 90 names that have been dropped, but
Holy moly. I thought it was less than that.
yeah, and this is like not the whole case. You know, there's gonna be more names dropped. What's his name? I'm trying to pick out the names that you guys might know. So there's Leonardo DiCaprio, who it didn't say anything about him doing anything. But
So he's on a list, but supposedly he's clean.
yeah.
Okay.
There is. Okay, here is Michael Jackson.
That one doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
a
it doesn't
whole lot.
surprise me.
It actually doesn't say he did anything with like the minors or anything.
Because he had Macaulay Culkin for years.
He had what?
Macaulay Culkin, the kid from Home Alone.
Has he ever said anything about that or? Okay. David Copperfield, a magician.
I don't know if I know
Didn't
him.
he rob the biggest heist in an airplane? Is that him?
He robbed an airplane?
That's David
he
Cooper
hijacked- oh, okay.
or something Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah. Al Gore. They have Prince Andrew
Oh yeah, I
of
did
the royal
see his
family.
name.
And in the thing, they were saying he also has gotten. Oh, no. They said that he had a girlfriend at the time who was definitely in high school. And then he asked the lady that's like charging the Epsteins and Maxwell, like if she was into giving massages to older men. Yeah.
How old was he when he had a high school girlfriend? Are we talking like 19 and 18? Like,
No,
yeah, that's
no,
still
no.
illegal.
No.
Oh, we're talking like 30
He was an adult.
Gosh, damn it.
Yeah. Kate Blanchett. I don't know if you guys know him
Him?
Yeah.
or her. Sorry.
I thought the same thing you did.
I don't know.
Yeah, Donald Trump, George Lucas, Kevin Spacey. I don't know if you guys know
I don't
him.
know him.
Bill
Sounds
Richardson. Yeah, there's a bunch of names. I just don't know who you guys know.
The crazy part to me is like you can feel like you know somebody because they're on a screen, or like you feel like you just see their movies or you see their interviews and you feel like you know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how common it is, though. Like the statistic is pretty crazy as far as like child pornography and stuff like that, and that's where it starts.
Yeah.
You don't just naturally just hop on an island. Like you're gonna like work levels. I have actually a personal story of a guy that we used to hang out with that got caught with that shit.
With child porn?
Yeah, and it goes deeper than that. So I'm gonna save his name, even though it's in like it's public record. But I'm not here to like defame him or whatever it's called. So we had this buddy that was in our group, and
It was close relationship.
yes, like with me,
Damn.
I have photos of him like at my kids' birthday parties.
Oh shit.
And he was in our group with like me, Justice,
Hold on, real
Taylor,
quick.
Bud.
You have pictures, so like, does that fuel a fire in you that really, with knowing that he's been around your family, been at your birthday parties, things like that?
The thing that fuels my fire is I vouched for him. Like I thought he was a great guy, which you can argue that he's probably a decent guy. It's just he has a problem. Like he has an addiction just like everybody else. So he
Sorry. Another question. The time of the picture, did you know?
No, it blindsided all of us, dude, including his wife. So he was married. They were trying to have kids, but she couldn't get pregnant, so they were going to adopt. They were like almost through the entire process, about to adopt, and he got caught with this. So the FBI raided his house. So he'd been doing some crazy stuff because the FBI doesn't just raid you for like normal stuff, right? Yeah. So FBI shows up on his house, knocks on the door, knocks on the door. She opens the door, the wife, and the FBI's like, hey, we have a search warrant. We're gonna need to see your laptops, everything. And they're walking through the house. They know the dogs' names. Like they knew everything about this dude. And
they
so
were watching him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They've been outside for, I think the documents say something like a month. They've been like spying on them. And so he gets caught, whatever. He ends up like, he had to like leave his job for a week because they stole his work laptop, his phone. They stole everything to go, and like it's part of evidence now.
Seized.
Yeah, seized. I guess stole is a bad word.
Yeah.
So this is all happening. We end up. He texts all the group chat. He's like, "Hey boys, like I need to meet up with y'all. Like I got some stuff going on." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah."
But at that point, you still don't know what.
Still don't know what's going on. So we meet at my house, and I'll say this: I knew the guy for like maybe 9 months. Like I wasn't that guy who was like homies with him for a very, very long time. Some of the other guys in our group were. So we meet at our house, and he dumps it on us, but he kind of plays it as like a, look guys, I have a porn addiction. I didn't know that they were underage, but I guess they were underage, and I'm in a lot of trouble right now. I might lose my house. I might lose my wife. Like, we're just trying to work through this whole thing. It's been pretty crazy. And so when I hear that, my personal opinion about pornography is like, is it good? No. Is it pretty normal in men? Yes. And so to me, I'm like, that's not necessarily like the worst addiction a man could have, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he said that, and so we kind of all vouched for him. I was like, look, bro, like I know you a little bit, and I don't feel like this is like the true you that I know. And so like, yeah, you're still able to come hang out. Like you're still able to like be around my kids. Like I don't know if all this crap is true or not, but like, yeah, you can still be a part of our group, a part of our family, that kind of stuff. And I was texting him. I would text him like every other day, like checking in. Hey, bro, how's everything going? How's the court case going? And that.
You did you not like connect the dots? Like he just got raided by the FBI. And
No.
it tells you guys he has a porn addiction. Like
No. So, okay. So this is how it happened. When it did that, or when he came in, he talked with us. I just instantly believed him. But then even a few hours after he left, the rest of us stayed back and we talked. And we started kind of putting some pieces together. And as it went on, more and more evidence came out. Like he was doing weird stuff, like leaving cameras in his little sister-in-law's room.
Oh,
He had videos of her changing. He had photos of her naked. He would get family photos, take the little sister-in-law's face and put it on top of a magazine of a naked girl. Like he was doing weird shit. We found out he was actually messaging girls, like little girls trying to like hang out. And that's really why he got caught, is because he was part of like a sting operation. But it just kind of goes to show that you never know. Because the most ironic part about it is a week, like 2 weeks before he got caught and he wanted to meet at my house, all that stuff. We were all at dinner, all the couples, and the wives were like, "Who do you guys think is the best husband?" Like super generic, which is actually messed up.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, your wife should say you. Like, and it should just be an even tie. Like everyone gets one vote. Like my wife voted for me, but pretty much all the other wives voted for this dude as the best husband because he's so nice and he's so like caring and he's a little bit more feminine. So he kind of connects with his wife a little bit more than the rest of us probably. And then that whole thing happened. And we were just like, holy cow. Like you literally cannot tell.
Yeah, and that's what makes it worse is that he was like around your kids, like around everyone else's kids, and you just didn't know. Like,
yeah, we all had to check our kids' rooms, bathrooms, just to make sure we had nothing like that. He didn't wire our houses too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Super, like just super crazy, super random. But yeah, luckily, I think everything's been good. The lucky part for him though is he got kind of saved by COVID, is because when COVID happened, they stopped doing in-court hearings. And so his court date got pushed like by like 6 months or something like that because they couldn't do everything fast enough online. And he ended up just never, like it never got resolved.
No way.
what?
So yeah,
So he's still out there.
Yeah, he's still out there. Him and his wife split, which another crazy thing about it is we all thought the wife was in on it too.
Oh,
Because she obviously knew all this shit's happened, right? Mm-hmm. Months later, her little niece moves in with them, who's like freshly 18. The niece and the boyfriend move in, and we were all like, bro, you know your husband's struggling with like minors, and you bring your little niece to come live with you? Like, that's crazy, bro. So we all thought that they were kind of in on it together, but she ended up leaving him. She's now married to another guy. Looks like everything's happy. I think she's pregnant. But it was just crazy because not even the wife knew. Like, nobody had zero idea that this guy was that kind of guy. So when you watch these guys on TV and you see a guy like Will Smith who like does all these great movies like Pursuit of Happiness and all this stuff, you think you know like the Will Smith, and then you find out, oh, he might have went to the island.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the frick, dude?
and that
So-
shit like that. Like that was one of your friends in the friend group, and then you go back to think like, was there ever a moment he was with my kids, like alone, like
yeah.
possibly?
Well, and that's one of those things too, is like, again, he couldn't have kids with his wife for some reason. They just weren't able to get pregnant. And honestly, it might have just been God saying,
Yeah,
no,
that's a blessing.
you cannot. And they were wrapping up the adoption thing. So they had a lady that was pregnant that was going to give them their baby. And this whole thing happened like a month or two before she had birth, like gave birth. And so then they're obviously off the adoption list. And so I think that it was just kind of, it was time for him to get caught because he was about to be a father, and no father should be doing that to their kids.
Yeah.
Or even participating in that stuff when you have kids.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Let's take a cup real quick. Have you guys ever heard of people involved in that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
And
about to say.
I was gonna share. So we all have a buddy that that we mix with. His ex brother-in-law. Was that the one you were thinking of? So his ex brother-in-law used to come around and mix with us here in St. George. He moves back to Salt Lake, and then he gets arrested. Everybody down here didn't know what was going on until the charges came out. And it was like, I want to say like 5 counts of molestation, or is that how you say it? Child molestation or whatever. And before that, he was like beating his wife. I think he was beating his wife, shit like that. Charges came out for that, and it was just like his wife, which is our buddy's cousin, left him. We all heard about it down here, and now I don't know where he's at. I don't know if he's still locked up, if he's walking the streets, but now it's to the point where everybody that we mix with, if we see him, it's like, you're not allowed here. And it was like, yeah.
I'm actually curious to who it is after this
Yeah.
name drop. Okay.
I'll tell you guys off podcast.
record?
Yeah.
Okay. You said yes to that?
Yeah, and we didn't know him personally, but right off of 2450, 140 South, we had a house, and where we lived, it was like 2 or 3 houses down. There was a what do we call him? Sexual offender. He was definitely on the list. Sex offender. But we didn't know that at the time. And he was like 45, looked like he was 40, 45, and he would wear no shirt, just his overalls, jean overalls, and he'd sit outside of his house every day because we had a pretty active neighborhood, and we'd ride bikes, we'd play games, play football in the street, things like that, and his house just was right there, so we were always playing in front of it. My mom ends up looking him up and found out that he was arrested for talking to minors. Not sure the extent of it. Don't know him personally, but he was... and like it's weird too because like you always get like kind of those vibes. I mean, not always, and it depends on the person.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy was pretty like profiling, but it was pretty obvious that he was just kind of a creep.
And you knew that as a kid.
I mean, we knew after, but we've had that feeling. Yeah.
Okay.
But and there's indicators. So like Halloween, he wasn't allowed to participate because kids would come to the door, so he would have to turn off his lights. I'm pretty sure he had to put like either like a certain color bulb of lights in the front or like a sign or something that says like, I can't have people come over today or something like that. So there's like things, it's like, why can't we ever go to his house type thing?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, wow.
shit.
Yeah.
That is crazy. You know you can log online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you a map.
Yeah.
It's pretty disgusting
Yeah.
when you like look at it, how many people around you. Even like, I would say me and my wife live in a pretty nice neighborhood. Still a bunch out there. So it's very sad. The tough part though too is that some of those guys are way less like serious of a crime, and some are way serious. So you never know.
Yeah.
Which doesn't excuse the ones with less criminal activity. But
What about you?
Yeah, so there was actually a guy at Desert Hills who played rugby with him. He got caught in a police sting, and I guess they had an ad on Craigslist saying that the mom wants this person to have sex with it, like take the virginity of his daughter or of her daughter. And the ad like specifically says the age and everything. He clicks on the ad and hits up the mom, and then goes through with it, meets her at the parking lot. It was just a cop. Gets arrested though. This is weird. Is he's also still out.
so wait, was he younger though, or how old is he when he did
He's
that?
your age, I'm pretty sure.
Or was he still in
Well,
high
when-
school though,
yeah.
or?
Oh no, this happened like 2017, 2018.
That's
So
still
like
pretty
probably
recent.
21 or 22.
Yeah. And he is still out, and he's still married to the same wife. And so part of me, like, because I don't know actually what happened, part of me is like questioning, like, was like, what happened? Like, we saw it on the news, but
So
maybe there's.
potentially it's fabricated, or are you saying maybe he got out of it because he
I don't
knew
know.
somebody?
I don't know how. Besides knowing somebody, I don't know how else he would get out of it. But it just doesn't make sense that the wife is still in love with him. You know,
Right.
why he's still roaming the streets.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Because, I don't know. I mean, typically men are getting caught in this thing. But if my wife ever got caught in that kind of stuff, knock on wood, I think I have a great wife. But if she ever did, I just don't think I could be with her anymore.
Yeah.
Especially where we're trying to raise kids together. And I'm
Right,
like,
exactly.
Yeah,
bro, I can't trust you to raise our kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just very tough. What was, so you had one more subject that we're going to discuss tonight?
Because this is such a heavy topic, I didn't want it to end on this. So I like something to bring up. This also came across my feed like crazy with the trial. Have you guys heard about the Miami Mall?
Miami Mall.
Yeah. The
don't
reason
think
why
so.
I'm bringing this up is remember a while back we were talking about conspiracies, and one of it was the Twin Towers, how they were losing a bunch of money, and so they caused a scene to make everyone look at that instead of how much money we've lost.
Yeah.
This one in Miami, there's a mall that they had reports saying two kids were fighting, or like two guys were fighting in there, had fireworks, and they're shooting at each other. The Miami PD dispatched what looked like 100 cars, 100 policemen, and there's a bunch of videos. Like there was like police cars lined up both sides of the road, on like the bottom and top, and people that live close to that mall, they said their Wi-Fi got cut out for a week.
What?
Yeah,
a week?
Yeah, they couldn't like post or anything. They couldn't, and they also said like they've recorded and their camera was just wiped like completely. But there's like been some like TikToks where you see like a giant gray figure running, and then people that were at the mall, they're starting to record their like what they saw, and they were saying they seen a giant gray figure, and instead of them walking up to them, they would disappear and pop up
Like a cloud?
like teleporting. I'm not saying I believe in it,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking, I'm like, are we dropping the client list to distract us from what happened at that mall, or are we dropping the mall stuff to distract us from the client list?
Yeah, I see that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like a distraction.
But you can look at the video. There's one video that looks like a giant gray creature walking, and the cops are just around him. And then a bunch of people were like saying like, I saw him, and at first they thought it was just like a shooting at the mall, so obviously they're gonna run. But the second they saw him, they were booking it out.
What the? A shooting with fireworks. That's honestly, that's a
Yeah.
crazy detail first. You're pissed at each other and you start shooting rockets at each other. Or like
and to have 100 policemen outside, like
for a couple
storming the
fireworks.
mall. Yeah, it's such a weird thing.
That is a weird thing, if it's all true, which we don't know.
Yeah.
I will say though, out of any place in the U.S., dude, Florida is where it happened.
Yeah.
So many crazy things happen.
But then you go to think, you're like, why is this happening in the U.S.? Like, I feel like everything happens in the U.S., you know, UFO sightings in the U.S. Like,
I'm sure it happens everywhere else or other places. We just don't hear about it, or it's not captured because it's third world, or it's not reported and it's not viewed here.
yeah.
Type of thing.
Real
Yeah.
quick, the Miami Mall and the list, did it come out around the same time?
Damn near. I think the list came out Wednesday, and then the mall incident happened from that Wednesday and before. And then when they got their Wi-Fi back, that's when it came out. So like Thursday.
Yeah, this is like Scooby Doo. We got to go solve the mystery. It's definitely like,
Yeah,
you know.
it's so interesting to me. Like, I don't know. It's everyone's account, which you can't trust everyone on TikTok and all that. but it's just so interesting.
So, in your opinion, which one's the cover up? Which one's the real?
I think, and this is something I was trying to look into. I think the Miami one is the cover up. And I wanted to look into the names that will come out and see if someone in the higher ups of the police department is on the list.
Not even a police, though.
Because
like a senator or a governor or something like that.
Yeah, if they're on the list, because then that would be like, yes, I'm covering up what's happening on the client list.
Yep.
And
That'd
also,
be crazy.
a lot of like things that have been published about the client list has been disappearing. Like I would have it bookmarked, and this is where I fucked up. I should have screenshotted it and like so I can reference later, but they're just gone.
Bro, that's so sketchy.
Yeah. And this is all after the Miami Mall incident.
Damn.
Tying in with that a little bit, the Epstein Island and that whole affair thing. Do you guys ever hear about the Wayfair?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's another thing. When people, have you heard about that?
No.
So there were items listed on Wayfair, like cabinets, for example, that were going for like 20 racks, 25,000.
And sorry, they were naming the cabinets, so it'd be like
Yes.
Rachel's cabinet for like 10,000, 15,000.
Obviously, no one's paying that much for a cabinet, but they were selling, and it kind of got to the point where people started looking into it, and the accusation was that Wayfair was trafficking children and selling it, and then it spun out to this whole deal for celebrities specifically. Talking about pizza was a
The
code
Pizza
word.
Gate,
Yep, pizza. Do you like your pizza with pepperonis? Just different types of toppings would indicate a different
code
race
names
of a kid.
Shit.
and the reason why Wayfair had gone so under the radar is because no normal person is going to buy a $10,000 cabinet. So obviously it was made for the rich, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. There's even this one clip. I forget who's in it. It might be Ellen. But they were like, oh, did you go to so-and-so's party? I'm like, yeah, they throw the best pizza parties. And the look that was shot was just like, shut the fuck up, dude. Don't talk about that. It's like, yeah, pizza parties, pepperoni pizza, cheese pizza.
People that
Someone said that on the like Ellen show.
Yeah, something like that.
What a freaking person! Unless this person's trying to exploit it, but like that's crazy.
Yeah, and people that were involved with the Pizzagate, they were also involved with Epstein's Island.
Yeah.
So it's like a huge circle that just leads back to Epstein.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, there's been a lot of times where celebrities are calling other celebrities out. Cat Williams went on
Right,
Shannon
right.
Sharpe.
Shannon Sharp's, yep. And then even the English. So have you guys seen the...
Wait, Shannon Sharp got called out for?
No,
No,
he's
Kevin
hosting.
Hart got called
Cat
out.
He got...
Yeah, Cat Williams called out Kevin Hart.
It wasn't on
I thought it
the
was Steve
thing.
Harvey.
He called out a lot of people, like
Yeah.
hella
That's true.
people. Kevin Hart was one. Steve Harvey was one. It's not necessarily about Epstein or anything, but about them lying, about their upbringing, about their
Yeah.
fame, about how they became famous. Even what's his name? Have you guys watched The Office? The
Yeah.
UK
A little
Office.
bit. Yeah, yeah.
No.
Not a whole lot.
He's in a couple of shows, but the main guy, the Michael Scott of the UK office is he did a opening. He was hosting some award show, and he called out everybody. That's a little older, but I mean, like, I don't know. It's like their peers are holding their groups accountable.
Right.
Yeah. Or what's that show? The Mask? Is it
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey? He'll get on shows like that and like, oh, don't act like you don't know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. And they're like, oh, what are you? Or he'll do like the Illuminati sign.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, don't act like you don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
it's
and
crazy.
he actually moved out to the wilderness and was living off the land. Like he wanted to be disconnected from society.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, hypothetically, if Illuminati's real, I'm not saying if it is or isn't, but if it is, they still know where you're at. Like, just because you're disconnected, they definitely know, oh, he's in this mountain range. Let's just take some stuff out there. We'll find him.
They could, but I mean, if you're ballsy enough to call him out, you better have a plan of how to hide.
Oh, yeah. You have to be hidden. But I'm one of those people, like, they're going to find you. So, I don't know. That stuff is hella crazy.
Another gross name that was on the flight logs, Harvey Weinstein. Do you guys know him?
No.
That sounds
So-
so familiar, though.
Yeah,
does.
he's literally the elite of like acting, movies. Like, I think he owned Miramax, the company that like makes or produces movies and everything, and he used that to his advantage. Like, a bunch of actors and actresses had thanked him, like saying like, I wouldn't be here without you at like the Golden Globes, like all that. And Jennifer Lawrence comes out saying like, yeah, he actually like had tried to put me in office, telling me to undress, and he just like wanted to get his way with him. Cat Williams actually talks about him, and Harvey Weinstein said he wanted to suck off Cat Williams.
Oh,
He said that.
Yeah,
he's also mentioned something about P. Diddy, and he was
Yeah.
like, P. Diddy meant he turned down $50 million, and he's like, no one's turning down $50 million. I turned down $50 million, but that's because I like my virgin butthole. Like, just weird
Yeah.
stuff like that.
P. Diddy said that?
No, Cat Williams said P. Diddy turned down the money.
Because I've heard that P. Diddy was one of those guys. Like, who was it Kanye or Usher? One of those two lived with P. Diddy, and I guess there's some weird stuff going on.
yeah. I've heard about that.
Yeah.
They were like bodyguarding his room because what's his name? It was shit, I am blanking. But they were in there having sex with two girls, but someone barged into the room and the two girls had their clothes on. And
What?
yeah, those guys were into each other.
Yeah, P. Diddy's a little weird.
Yeah. If there's any industry in the world that would be affiliated with that type of thing, with Epstein's Island, with Wayfair, with offering money to people, it would be Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood, the music industry, those are like things that obviously we grew up, we watch movies, we listen to music that we want to do. Maybe people want to do it, and people compromise themselves.
Yeah.
It's a easy way to manipulate. Like, if you do this, you'll be the next Will Smith. You'll be the next, I don't know, a female artist or
Meryl Streep.
it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Harvey Weinstein incident is crazy.
Oh, have you guys heard, like, with Hollywood, the kingdom of Babylon in the scriptures? I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Babylon. Babylon is like the most evil, like, civilization in the Bible, and that's kind of what like ended a lot of the church and stuff. In Hollywood, there's actually a community called Babylon, and they're trying to start that out there because there's a lot of non-Christians out there, but like a lot of people believe they're the modern day Babylon, and then they went ahead and just named one of their like buildings or something. And I could be completely wrong, so please fact check me. But I saw that on like TikTok or something. But Hollywood is like starting a lot of weird movements. So they believe Hollywood, like a lot of Christians believe Hollywood is who is facilitating a lot of this like evil or corruption, which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, on a smaller scale too, they say that like Hollywood just throws it in your face, puts it right there in front of you. So you're like, one, you're getting accustomed to it. Two, you're like, well, that only happens in movies.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, what's crazy about that is like when you think about how much they've thrown it in our face, it wasn't just one day. It was like, boom. It was like, it's like escalated. For example, SpongeBob. It's a little kid's movie. And when you watch it now, you see there is a lot of adult humor in there, but you don't catch it as a kid, but they're feeding it to you, right?
Yeah.
And then it just builds and builds and builds to where we're at, where there can be some pretty crazy stuff in movies now.
Yeah, I've always thought the adult humor and like the SpongeBob and all that was so the parents could also get a laugh in while the kids are watching.
That's the thing, though, and it could be. This is just like conspiracy talk.
Yeah.
This isn't like, oh, this is what they were doing. But that's the thing, though, is like, not to get super religious, but like in the religious community, you kind of believe that evil disguises itself as like good, or like in, like for the example that you shared with SpongeBob, you thought it was just so parents could enjoy it too. That's one way you could think about it.
Yeah.
Or the other way is like they're trying to feed our kids this kind of stuff, this kind of content. Even like the one where they were like doing drugs pretty much on it or whatever. The one that we shared, the cursing one, like those shouldn't be part
hooks.
of. Yeah, the hooks. Yeah, or the swearing one. Like typically that's not supposed to be for kids, but when you feed it like that, it's almost like, oh no, it's not that bad. It's more so the adults can enjoy it versus, oh, this actually is kind of bad. You know what I'm saying?
We talked about it before, but the Toy Stories too, how they have Sid's toys.
Oh yeah,
The combinations like that. Like back then, when I was watching Toy Stories, I didn't think anything of it. I thought Sid was just crazy and he was just like putting together toys and shit like that. Until like we talked about it, I guess, and it's been like flowing through the internet. That's when I was just like, oh shit, like that was like tying in like the hookers one, things like that.
Or even like Sausage Party. Have you guys seen that one?
Yeah,
It's so funny.
It's good.
But like it's definitely like an adult movie.
Yeah.
But it's animated so it looks like a kid's movie. Because I remember the first time I put it on, I thought it was a kid's movie. And then all the F-bombs get dropped. All the like sausage jokes get dropped. I'm like, oh, this is definitely an adult film.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's just like, you could do that with anything in life. You could be a conspiracy person. And just think everything's like, oh, they're trying to feed our kids all this stuff. And you could argue one way or the other. But
yeah. Let's go ahead.
yeah,
and
let's wrap it up.
take our last cut.
Appreciate you guys. Again, this was kind of a deep and dark episode, so watch at your own discretion. But we appreciate you guys. Love you guys. See you guys next week.
All right.